Ferns are not just plants, they are living fossils that tell a story stretching back more than 380 million years. Their journey begins in the Devonian period, when Earth's land surface was still new to life. At that time, landscapes were covered mostly by mosses, liverworts, and a few early vascular plants. But then came a major evolutionary leap, the rise of ferns. They developed vascular tissues, xylem and phloem, that could transport water and nutrients efficiently. This breakthrough allowed them to grow taller and spread further, supported by true roots, stems, and complex divided leaves known as fronds. With these traits, ferns became among the first plants to build real forests, transforming barren ground into lush green worlds. By the late Devonian, early fern groups such as the cladoxylopsids and the stauropterids were already branching out into different environments. Some even reached tree-like proportions, forming canopies that gave shade to the first terrestrial arthropods and laid the foundation for forest ecosystems. As the Carboniferous period began, about 359 million years ago, ferns and their close relatives entered their golden age. This was the time of vast coal-forming swamps, dominated by towering lycophytes, horsetails, seed ferns, and true ferns. In these humid forests, tree-like ferns and giant horsetails reached heights of 10 to 20 meters. The Maratiales, one of the oldest surviving fern lineages, became especially dominant during this time. These dense forests not only created complex ecosystems but also altered the planet itself. By locking away carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen, they helped shape the atmosphere that supports complex life today. The layers of vegetation that fell and were buried in these swamps eventually turned into the coal seams that still fuel our world. Through the Permian and Triassic, as the supercontinent Pangaea formed and climates shifted to become drier, many of the ancient fern lineages declined. Yet ferns showed resilience. New groups arose, adapting to changing conditions. Among them were the Arsmandales, sometimes called the living fossils of ferns, whose modern representatives still closely resemble their 200-million-year-old ancestors. During the Mesozoic era, the age of dinosaurs, ferns were everywhere. They often thrived beneath the great conifers and cycads that dominated the canopy. In fact, in many Jurassic and Cretaceous ecosystems, ferns were the primary undergrowth, carpeting the forest floor with green. Some families like the Schiziales and Glyconiaceae diversified widely, filling ecological niches from tropical wetlands to volcanic slopes. When the catastrophic asteroid impact struck 66 million years ago, causing the extinction of dinosaurs and many other lineages, ferns became the ultimate survivors. Fossil evidence shows a fern spike in the record, an explosion of fern spores preserved in rocks, indicating that after the devastation, ferns rapidly recolonized the barren landscapes. This is why they are sometimes called the first responders of plant life. As flowering plants began to spread and dominate during the later Cretaceous and Cenozoic, ferns did not disappear. Instead, they diversified in the shadows. One of the most successful modern groups, the Polypodiales, arose around 100 million years ago. Today, this group includes the majority of fern species we see around us. From delicate maidenhair ferns to massive tree ferns of the tropics, their forms are astonishingly diverse. Unlike seed plants, ferns reproduce through spores, and their life cycle includes a hidden stage often overlooked, the gametophyte. This tiny, heart-shaped, independent organism produces gametes that fuse to form the familiar leafy fern. This alternation of generations is an ancient and elegant system, a window into how plants reproduced long before flowers and seeds evolved. Today, ferns number more than 10,000 species, inhabiting almost every corner of the globe. They flourish in rainforests, on mountainsides, in deserts, and even in cracks of city walls. Some play critical roles in stabilizing soils and maintaining humidity, while others form unique partnerships with fungi and insects. In human culture, ferns also have held symbolic meaning, representing resilience, purity, and eternal renewal. The story of ferns is a story of endurance. From the first forests of the Devonian, through the swampy giants of the Carboniferous, across mass extinctions, and into the present day, they have survived it all. They remind us of life's capacity to adapt and persist. To look at a fern today is to look at a living link to Earth's deep past, a plant that carries in its fronds the memory of worlds long vanished, and yet continues to thrive in the present. Silent, graceful, and enduring, the ferns remain among Earth's greatest survivors.